If you're flying anytime soon with Ryanair, as many of you do, and no doubt many of you will be, you will have to contend with new rules when it comes to the way you've been packing and deciding on what to take with you, because Ryanair has changed its hand luggage rules for the second time this year. From today, the airline introduced charges for passengers flying with a small suitcase. In January, Ryanair began a policy which saw passengers who had not brought priority boarding permitted to take a personal bag, such as a handbag, on board, while a second larger bag, this is the 10 kg bag, could be put in the hold free of charge. But according to the airline, this led to problems. With me on the line to talk about this is Eoghan Corry, who's editor of TravelExtra.ie. Eoghan, good morning to you.
Good morning, Jerry.
Is that a fair summation of it? What's going to happen now is you'll be allowed your handbag and your very, very small bag, 35 centimetres by 20 by 20, free of charge. But the 10 kg bag will now, if you don't pay for it, you'll not be allowed to bring it on board. Is that right?
Pretty much it. It's the end of the free cabin bag. It means that people will, if they're bringing a bag on board of any meaningful size, they're going to have to pay priority boarding. The interesting thing is that's €6. If you check the bag in, it's €8. So obviously there's a small financial incentive to buy The mathematics of this are very simple as well. 189 seats on that aircraft, and there's 90 options for getting priority boarding. A lot of people who are looking towards the end of November and the Christmas period are finding all the priority boarding has been sold.
Okay, so does that mean then you won't even have the option, even if you want to pay for a hand luggage bag, you won't have the option to pay for it because it's booked out?
Yeah, it goes in the hold. It's pretty. You were getting that free until now,
but you have to pay for it in the hold.
You have to pay for it, €8 in the hold, and that has to be done. If that isn't done before the airport, there are all sorts of complications. You're going to be fined €25 as of today for arriving with the bag, and a lot of people would. They're getting messages from Ryanair, but a lot of people are unclear about it, and a lot of people will be arriving in the coming weeks without any knowledge of this new policy. There were all sorts of complications with Ryanair as well, that they applied. They announced this in August, and they applied it retroactively and retrospectively to people who had already booked flights after November the 1st. They were dragged screaming virtually into acknowledging that they had to honour the terms and conditions of the tickets that they had already sold. That was done by the Italian regulator, who took a very firm stand on it. But over the coming weeks, it will be quite confusing. One small correction: you do get a slightly bigger bag. It doesn't make that much of a difference. The 35 has gone to 40, but think of a laptop with all the little containers around it for cables and things like that. That's more or less the bag you're going to get on board free of charge. Otherwise, you're going to have to pay priority boarding or pay that €8 to put the cabin bag in the hold.
You're not going to be stuffing a week's worth of laundry into a bag like that?
There are other options. Ryanair passengers are very inventive. We had the advent of the layer players many years ago, who would put 3 or 4 shirts on and a jumper or two and maybe a coat on top of it. There's a bit of that goes on. But realistically, what Ryanair are saying is that this is not about the luggage, it's about the speed of loading the aircraft. They were doing that policy change since January, where they went around, listeners will remember, the yellow tags that were put on bags, and they all went in the hold. You collected them the other side. It was all working very well, except when it came to punctuality. And punctuality is the shrine at which Ryanair will worship, because their aircraft do W patterns all over Europe. So a 10-minute delay in Dublin can turn into a 20-minute delay in Valencia, into a 30-minute delay in Bergamo. And when you get to the afternoon, their entire schedule is lagging behind. So they're saying this is about punctuality, it's not about profit. Okay, so this can add up as well. If you decide to go along the line of, look, I'll travel with just a small bag, or else, look, I'll pay the priority fee if I can book it in time. That's €6 per person per flight, so €12 onto the cost of your ticket at the time of booking. It's a bit more, I think, if it's online check-in, and then or else you pay the €8 per person per flight to check in your 10k bag into the hold. And is that where the €25 fee comes in if you haven't notified the airline of that? That's exactly it. If you arrive without having done the paperwork or the online equivalent of paperwork, that's where the €25 fee comes in. And you can imagine if you multiply that by 4, which you're travelling with as a family, it will add substantially to the cost of holidays. And the peak period, the sun routes in peak period in the summertime when most people go on holidays during school holiday time, the baggage charges are already inflated. So it is moving from a situation where people could actually budget around carrying not very much luggage and get the benefit of Ryanair's low fares. There really is no avoiding it if you're going away.
Yeah, will people step back and say, look, it's better off just pack everything if 2 or 3 of us are travelling into one big check-in bag that we check in and pay the fee for that? Will people assess that?
I think that's already been happening, and it's quite amazing how little you need on holidays when you start rationalising it. I think in the old days when baggage was a given, people used to carry quite an amount of material, and Ryanair would have moved from a situation where way back when they started charging for check-in bags, that to 80% of people checked in a bag. It went from 80% to 20% in a very short period of time, about 15 months. So what Ryanair have, they call it behaviour modification. What they've done is they've incentivised a certain type of travel for their passengers, and the benefit for Ryanair is they famously turn around their aircraft in 20 minutes. Aircraft don't make any money on the ground. They have them in the sky the whole time, and they have them flying these W patterns that I'm talking about. So that's why punctuality is really important to them, more important than profit, they say, but it's quite interesting. They released the first half results 2 weeks ago, and their ancillary revenue was up 27%. I suspect a lot of that is the advanced sales on priority boarding. The other knock-on effect of if you're going to if 90 people out of 189 pay for priority boarding, the people that used to just take a chance on it, not pay priority boarding and hope to sit together, the chances of that happening is diminished.
That's down as well. So whatever way we cut it, our experience is going to change, and air travel effectively just got more expensive.
And the other airlines are watching what Ryanair does already with the Eastern European version of Ryanair. They have decided to introduce the exact same baggage policy on the exact same day. They're the ones that are closest in terms of unit cost to Ryanair. Ryanair's unit costs are way below all the other low-cost carriers. It's interesting that Wizz are chasing them, and possibly as a result of trade unionisation could be actually catching them on that. I would not be surprised if we see EasyJet and other low-cost carriers, Norwegian and some of the airlines like Flybe and people like that, following them. Bear in mind as well that the Ryanair's cabin bag allowance was quite high when they introduced the 10k, and Aer Lingus is also quite generous. A lot of the charter airlines that people would have flown on holidays with down the years would have 5k and 6k and cabin bag allowances. So it's really not that different from what some of the airlines were already implementing.
Yeah. Final question for you, Eoghan. What happens if you've already booked priority? A listener wants to know. I imagine you're okay. You've got the priority. You've paid for your bag.
There's no question about if you have got priority, you bring your bag. That's unchanged. What was interesting is that the people who had booked for flights after November the 1st and hadn't booked priority, they're the ones that the Italian regulator got really interested in, because the terms and conditions when you book in July and then you're told in August, even though you haven't taken your flight yet, the terms and conditions have changed. Ryanair had to back down on that. It isn't a hell of a lot of flights. It's also a very quiet time of the year. This is even for away from Ryanair, if you're thinking of going away, going on holidays between now and just before the schools close in December, is the cheapest time of the year to travel, and it's the lowest numbers that travel. So it's a time for them to introduce the baggage policy and get it working before the madness starts mid-December and into the Christmas period.
And people will be finding out about it. A lot of people, I assume, when they get to the gate, will be finding out about this one in real time. Eoghan, thanks a million for going through it for us this morning.
very much, Jerry.
That's Eoghan Corry there.
Very much.
That's editor of TravelExtra.ie, Eoghan Corry, and like that, you need to figure it out. A lot of people will be figuring it out by getting hit with the charges. We'll talk a bit more about that. If you've a view on it, get in touch with us. We'll have that after we take these.